Hello and good morning, good afternoon, good evening. I just got off a call with someone in Sweden, and I think it's 6 o'clock for her right now. So, whatever time you are in, whatever time zone you are in, we are all here now. So I'm excited that you're here with me now, and I want today to chat about dissolving frustration and dissatisfaction, even if you don't really know where it's coming from, which is often the problem, actually, for a lot of people. They feel dissatisfied, they're frustrated, and a lot of times they project the frustration or the dissatisfaction onto something else. There's a lot of upheaval going on right now. I mean, we've got presidents stepping down. We have former presidents getting shot. We have all of these things that are going on in the universe right now. And it's just a reflection of the amount of dissatisfaction, I think, that's going on, the amount of frustration. And what happens or helps the most is to kind of take a step back from what it seems like is all this chaos, which it is, and look back and take a deep breath into what we can do about our own energy and our own frustrations and our own dissatisfaction and our own vibration. And really come back into this moment of figuring out, okay, what's going on? What's the message? What am I supposed to be getting clearly that maybe I'm missing, or I'm looking beyond, or I'm using something else to blame it on? So when we don't really know where it's coming from, and even sometimes when we do, it's a good time for us to take just a moment and breathe into that moment. Breathe into what is really happening for us inside. So a lot of us who are push through, white knuckle, get it done people, that works for us to a certain pushes back, that's where the conflict comes in, where the dissatisfaction comes in. Because a lot of us have chosen to make decisions in our lives based on how we were raised and what was right, what was okay, So when you were a child, you grew up in a situation where it was safe to work a job and to have a steady income. You might be in conflict because what you really want is to go out on a business, do something in a way that isn't the same. Or maybe you were someone who wanted to live free and you wanted to travel and you wanted to do all these things, but you did something that was more appropriate for what your family was. So you went through the steps and you got married at an early age and you had kids at an early age and you did all the things you were supposed to do. And yes, maybe you loved all of you chose, but at the same time, there's a part of you who is just desperate for freedom, desperate to live in a way that's more wild, right? It's more free. And so where you wouldn't turn your family in, you wouldn't give them up because you love them, right? There is that side of you that never got the satisfaction, that didn't get the needs met, that was never really seen and heard and surfaced. Sometimes we look at that and say, well, it's too late. Can't do it now. Should have done it when I was 30. Should have done it when I was 20. Should have done it when I was 40. But if that part of you is calling and it wants to be seen and it wants to be heard and it wants to be surfaced, squashing it down and saying it's too late isn't helping the situation either. So sometimes that dissatisfaction, that frustration shows up as fatigue. It shows up as thyroid disorder because we're not speaking our voice. We're not communicating clearly who we really are and what we really want at this stage of life, whatever stage that is. Sometimes it shows up as migraines, shows up as belly fat, that no matter what we do or the number of sit-ups that we do or the number of hours that we spend on a treadmill, it's not going away. Hormone imbalance, weight that just seems to hang on. All of these things are messages that there's an imbalance, there's a dissatisfaction, there's a frustration from within. Because if you feel like you're doing all the right things, or you can't stop yourself from doing the things you know that don't support you, Like you find yourself leaning hard into potato chips or into sweets, into those pointless carbs. And we're not caring for ourselves the way we need to be cared for to support our bodies so that we can be in a space where we're up leveling and that we're not just trying to keep it together all day. What that is our bodies telling us that we are out of balance. We are out of sync with who we really are. So your labs are not going to show up in the best light. And even if they do show up normal, you're still not feeling right. And sometimes you can't really put your finger on it. You just know what you're feeling isn't okay. You know what you're feeling isn't the thing that you want. So when you just take a moment right now, and you're here for a reason, you're listening to me right now for a reason, there's something within you that wants to be seen, it wants to be heard, it's not being satisfied. It's not living the life experience that you expected to be living at this point in time, no matter how old you are. I turned 50 at the beginning of this year. And my friends who are already in their 50s and 60s told me something's going to change. And I'm like, nothing's going to change. I got this. I do all the work. I do the things. I connect with myself. And they said, just wait for it. So I was like, oh. And yeah, 50, something shifted. And there is just this point that it's like, I'm on the back half now, right? And I no longer am willing to wait for things. You know, when you're 30 or you're 25 or you're 40 even, you can say, you know what, I got time. But now I'm looking at this and saying, why? Why would I wait? Why would I wait to claim who I really am? Why would I wait to say the things, right? Why would I wait to connect at a deeper level? Why would I wait to surface who I really am? Not that I haven't been, but now there's just pieces that are just like, because the part of me who worried about whatever people thought or if they liked me, that kind of part of me is like, what's the point? Because there's going to be people always that don't like what I have to say. That's okay. And there's going to be people who just don't like me, and that's okay too. But if I am curbing who I am or making myself small because I'm so worried about where other people are and their thought process, in their belief system, in their connection, I don't get to surface my real true self. So I want you to think, what am I not seeing? What am I not surfacing? Where within me can I have more life satisfaction and brilliance and happiness and joy and balance, where I'm not even allowing myself to receive it? Where in my life am I not advocating for who I am because I'm too busy trying to advocate for everyone else because that's part of what I thought I was supposed to do in order to be a good girl, to be a good person? Where I'm not saying you shouldn't support other people or help them. If you're doing it at your own expense, if you were choosing suffering in order to try to help other people and you're putting yourself at the bottom of the list, maybe a part of the list that really never gets looked at or paid attention to, that's where some of your dissatisfaction is coming from. All of us, hardwired into all of us, is to want to be seen and heard and acknowledged and validated. And if you're not getting that, that dissatisfaction is going to run deeper. It's going to cause more havoc. It's going to fester. And it's going to suffocate who you really, really are. And now is the time to make that shift. Now is the time to make that change. And if you're in a space right now where you're like, well, that's great, Kirsten, I'm all with you. I don't know how to do it. I've been trying to figure this out. I don't know what to do. I don't know how to change that. I know something is stuck. I know something is there. I know I'm bigger and more amazing than what I'm allowing myself to feel and be. I just don't know how to expose or surface, free that part of who I am. That's so much of what we really do with our clients. Yes, our clients come to us because they have stomach issues, they have hormone imbalances, they've got fatigue, they've got celiac disease, they've got Hashimoto's, they've got migraines. But what they're really coming for is to get that part of them that's calling and desperate to really get out to the surface. And there are techniques and there are tools that we teach and that we do here. Yes, we can do the labs. Yes, we can interpret them for you. Yes, we can help you with the science. Yes, we can help you with the nutrition and all the tangible pieces. Yes, we do all of those things too. But when you couple that with a system and tools and support that help you get into the underlying pieces of who you really are, to surface them, to rewire the pieces that are holding you back out of a misguided system that conditioned you to believe that you needed to stay small or that you couldn't support what you really wanted and your dreams were too late. We've got to remove those blocks so that that can come to the surface. It's like having all this water in a pipe that just wants to come out, but you've got a big rock in the middle. So maybe some pieces of the water, some little tiny slivers of water come around the rock, but it's being held back. And there's a pressure that's building up, and that pressure gets stuck, which is where you feel that dissatisfaction. For many of you, it's stuck in your body, and it's in the pit of your stomach. It's in the middle of your heart space. For some of you, it's right here, and it turns into headaches. For some of you, it's literal, actual physical pain that is showing up in your legs because you so badly want to move forward, but you feel trapped. Lower back pain, shoulder pain, neck pain. Pain is dissatisfaction and imbalance in the body. It's resistance to letting who you really are surface and come through. So when there is a conflict of who you really are and who you show up as in the world, think of that conflict showing up physically as pain or a symptom or as autoimmune conditions, hormone imbalance, really, really, really hard perimenopause, menopausal symptoms that are keeping you up at night, sweating, hot flashing in the middle of the day, feeling like you don't understand what's going on and you just can't get it together. All of those are symptoms that you are out of balance with who you really are. That does not make you crazy. That does not make something wrong with you. That makes your body love you, is really what it is. The communication it's trying to bring forward is that you have the opportunity to release and let go and surrender so you can step forward and lean in to who you really are. A lot of our clients, we have this conversation on what surrendering really looks like. And a lot of times, for those of us who are power go-getters, A-type personalities, the kind that just doesn't stop, go, 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 go. When you feel like you've hit this wall, sometimes you do the reverse and you just feel out of sorts and it's kind of a depressed state. Or you push harder, which is just going to burn you out faster because you're not doing what we would say is a surrender. And for a lot of people who are go, 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 push through, make it happen people, surrender is frightening because it sounds like giving up. It sounds like failing. It sounds like you're not good enough. You're giving up. And that's not what true surrender really is. True surrender is allowing the conversation, the dissatisfaction, the communication your body is having with you to come up and come forward and come through. And then trusting the flow of what it's trying to bring you to. Trusting that the you are inside, the one that's trying to surface, is good enough. And that she's acceptable. And she's allowed. And she's beautiful. And she's flawed and amazing at the same time. But flash forward 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 years from now. Imagine that you're looking back on this moment, in this exact moment right now, and you're looking back on it. What would you tell this version of yourself to do right now? Surrender so you can step up and step in? Or just keep fighting this battle that is exhausting and frustrating and annoying and defeating? We have clients, when they finally connect to the souls they really are and they release, on the other side of that, what they say almost every single time is, gosh, that process was so much easier than I was letting it be. I just didn't know how to do it. I didn't know how to utilize the strength of surrendering to step into who I really am and create this energy of this like wise woman surrender, rather than this fearful holding on, fighting, conflicting, resisting. But the beautiful, empowered relief that happens when clients just trust and they lean into the surrender. It's amazing how their fatigue dissolves, their pain dissolves, their digestive system starts doing its job in a way because it doesn't feel forced and it doesn't need to communicate with you that something's out of balance. The labs start balancing out. The tangible pieces all start making sense from the heart as well as the head, because you become together as one. But when you're trying to figure it out and you're frustrated and you're dissatisfied, there's typically a disconnect between the thoughts and the body sensory experiences. And when we've disconnected those, usually because we thought it kept us safer, usually it's a defense mechanism. We stay all up in our heads and we disconnect from what the body is telling us. It has to come at us harder, more dramatic, with more symptoms or deeper pain. So if you're done being dissatisfied, if you're over the frustration, if you're ready to reflect back and understand how to use the tools that we use, the processes that we use with our clients, and you want to step into that, you want to learn how to step in and surrender, how to let go and do it in an empowered way, where you don't feel like you're failing, you don't feel like you're giving up, you're actually stepping into who you truly are, and you want that relief and that empowerment too, and you want your body to start feeling balanced and like your own again, then reach out. I'd love to have a conversation with you about what that could look like for you. You can always pop over onto our calendar and just book a conversation. It would be fairly quick, a 20 to 30 minute conversation, where the point of the conversation is to see where you are, where you're trying to get to, and if the processes and the tools that we use with our clients every day is the bridge to get you from where you are now in that dissatisfied, frustrated space to this empowered, relief, energetic space, then jump on the calendar. We'll have that conversation. And if it's not the right process for you, we'll be super clear about that too. But I would love to hear where you are, what you've done before, why you feel like you're stuck, and help give you some clarity over what to do about that. And if our process is the one that's going to help you get there, we can also talk about the details of that. But let's get some clarity on what's going on, because a lot of times what you're looking for is that clear peace, that clear understanding of why you're in this dissatisfied space, because you can't see it from the inside a lot of the time. And I'm not emotionally attached to why it's happening for you, but I have been doing this for years. So I can typically see it on you a lot faster because I don't have any defense mechanisms blocking me from being able to see it on you. It's a lot easier to see it on someone else. So if you're open to that and you're ready to have that conversation where you're like, okay, let's get this done. I'm going to stop trying to figure this out on my own, because if you could have figured it out on your own, you frankly would have done it by now. What got you here isn't going to bridge you over to get you here. I can help you see what that is. Put yourself on our calendar. Go to nourish123.com/heal. We can have that conversation and allow yourself to just lean into the concept, step into the ability to be open, to really see why, and find the path, the bridge to that relief, that empowerment, that space. All right, so take a deep breath, get connected, let this noodle. Otherwise, get yourself on my calendar. Go to nourish123.com/heal and we'll have a conversation. All right, have a good